to a degree, as far as like Ryan Garcia. I thought at the Luke Campbell fight, he was still a evolving fighter and getting better, and he just stopped right at Luke Campbell and never got better. And if anything, kind of looked like he got worse over the years. And, you know, Conor Benn was in that same conversation. So I think this 24 rounds he had with Chris Eubank made a big difference for him. I think it helped him to kind of get acclimated into the boxing space. Now we're going to get into the next part of the conversation, which is his next big move, and talk about what that's going to end up looking like. But I think the weight cut on this specific topic right now was significant, man. He lost on the scale. He fell short on the scale. The scale took a lot out of Chris Eubank. He played that game, and I don't care how much. I don't think Bomac brings this dude cutting the weight properly all of a sudden, or, you know what I mean, that team. That's not what that is. We're talking about the physical body of somebody and their ability to stay in a weight class that they're already cutting weight to be in. And this is boxing, right? A lot of these fighters in these weight classes are only supposed to be there for a temporary amount of time because their real weight is not that, right? They're competing there because they're building themselves up. They want to become champions. They want to get their pedigree up, and they want to get into when they finally get to their division, to be able to be, you know, big fighters, because this is prize fighting. Right? They're building their brand and building their value. But you have these fighters who hang out in these divisions just a little too long. Jerron Boots Ennis teetered on the edge of that at 147. We saw Erickson Lubin, a life, you know what I mean, career-long 154-pounder. Come on, bro. At some point, you got to move up in weight. He never did, and he looked horrible against Virgil Ortiz. You talk about Errol Spence, who hung out at 147 just a little too long and looked horrible against Terrence Crawford. And once again, keeping it real, not trying to take away from the guys who beat these guys, right? You don't want to take away from Virgil Ortiz's victory against Erickson Lubin. We don't want to take away from Terrence Crawford's victory against Errol Spence, right? We don't want to take away from none of these guys who got victories on these fighters. But if we're going to keep this conversation focused on the fighters themselves, Chris Eubank sacrificed a lot, obviously pushes his body to the limit, and just wasn't able to pull that trigger, and looked horrible in a boxing match with Conor Benn, not in a fight, in a match where the pace was actually slowed down for him. Right? Like, this is where somebody whose conditioning might be in a little bit of a question would have been happy to be like, yo, damn, bro, he's not really putting it on me like that. He's really still jabbing with me and being hesitant. This is kind of where I want him to be. I was thinking I was going to have to domesticate him with my jab, right? Make him honest with my jab. And here he is being reserved from round one, and he just wasn't able to turn that engine over. He wasn't able to pull that trigger and make it happen. And the question comes into, once again, weight cuts becoming something real diabolical in combat sports, period, because you're getting punched in your head. Pundits across the space are talking about this right now. UK Boxing News is talking about it. Shakur Stevenson tweeted on it. A lot of fighters were very upset with this whole rehydration clause, specifically that part of the agreement. Not even the 160-pound part of it as much as the rehydration clause. Where are you at on that? How did you feel about, you know, this whole weight cut situation with Chris Eubanks?
Oh my goodness. Just think it's just terrible, man. I think it's bad for boxing, and it's starting to show. A lot of sports do it. I think I talked to you about this earlier. You got MMA, wrestling, a lot of these, whether it be Roman Greco, collegiate level, or Olympic style, whatever one you want to choose. All these guys go to make weight, and even in boxing, you know, these guys are living their lives in classes. And these classes are starting to create problems. Now, you got some guys that may come out stronger, or their abilities may save them. You mentioned some fighters earlier, and I think we all know the biggest egg in the room would be Devin Haney, who stayed at 135 a little too long, and he was able to dominate the division because he wanted to make the big fights. And I think that one fight he should have got out of was that Loma fight, because he wanted that fight so bad, he ended up staying a fight too long. Which would really look bad on him. But, you know, it even cost him at 140 because he outgrew that division with one fight going in. We have to look at what you just said, Clay, as this has to be real, man. These guys got to start taking this stuff for real. It's a life. You got meninges in your brain and things like that can be damaged. The layers between your brain can cause problems.
Yeah, look at what happened with Virgil.
Right. You know what I mean? Exactly. Virgil almost damn near died making 147 after coming up for 140 because you know what I mean? So there's a lot going on there if you're not doing it the healthy and right way. Um, as far as all this going on, man, you just gotta it's not worth it. You know what I mean? The toll wasn't worth it. I mean, I guess people are fighting for money
I
and
mean, he got 10 million. That's another
I
part
will
of it,
say
right? Yeah,
the money is
the
starting
money.
to be more of a value over your life. But if you die in that ring, what is the money worth? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
A new car, you know what I mean? Expensive, a new fur ring robe, you know what I mean? Give him 50 cents, a couple dollars to walk you down the mat. Come on, man. It's not worth it.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree with you 100%. I mean, I don't know. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Maybe for them it is worth it because ultimately he's got twins on the way. He's got a family. These fighters all have families, bro. And is it worth it to risk your life? Like, if he did die, would he regret the death, being that his family's taken care of? You know what I mean?
right.
For generations to come potentially, right? Because 20 million is not the end all be all, but that's a good amount of money to be sitting on.
Yeah.
I guess I'm combining what he made on both fights and then combining that whatever he did in his career before that. So, right. So there's an argument there to say that he's worth somewhere close to give or take $30 million. And that's a lot of money to make. And prize fighting is the name of the game, but whose responsibility is, there's an argument there that I'm sure Chris Eubank Sr. would make to say that, that's why the sanctioning bodies are there. That's why the athletic commissions are present, that they're supposed to regulate these things and not allow these things to move forward, even though a fighter would want to compromise their own health because they're thinking about that bigger picture. But does the athletic commission and the sanctioning bodies take any responsibility on themselves to be responsible to protect these fighters as well? Because they don't want their organization and their sport to start looking like a savage sport to where they're just allowing people to die, right? What do you feel about that?
Exactly. Exactly. Um, Saints money is about the money anyway. So do they really care? The commissions need to be more worried about it than the sanctioning bodies. Sanctioning bodies should actually run. They should start creating more hydration rules and things like that, like the IBF. And though they say they have them in place, a lot of them don't, and they're still working on them if they do, or trying to make it happen. Um, Again, these things that are dangerous and things that are being considered okay are fail safes, and these fail safes are going to eventually it's going to cost somebody their life because of this. And we already seen a fighter get knocked out moving up from 140 to fight the bigger fighter, and probably came in a little lightweight because he probably he fought a couple fights there, and he probably didn't have the strength and the ability to withstand a punch. Head bounced off the mat, and Jin Sasaki. A lot of these things happen, Clay, and we're lucky because even with the second punch, I remember I told you the second knockdown, he was going down anyway, but he went to grab on, but he got rabbit punch. Now imagine if Connor Benn hit him hard enough in the back of his head. You know what I mean? He just hit him. He basically just hit him off him. You know what I mean? It wasn't really like I'm going to knock you out type punch. It was more of like, yeah, I'm just going to hit you off me because you happen just to turn there, and this is what's happening. Can you imagine if he really tried to take a hard overhand right and just punch down on him? Why his head was like that, bro? We sending black flowers. Everybody be dressed in black today, saying this. You know what I mean? Because of that. And if not, he would have been seriously injured, probably with some brain damage
Yeah.
because that was significant. So we have to be understanding that these things in boxing have to be clear, even with the sanction and the commissions of the sport. Even Turkey Al Sheik, and I don't think it was so much of him. I don't put on the promoter so much or the people that managed the fight, but they also have to be aware of these things and going forward. And seeing a contest like this should tell everybody, bro, there's something wrong here. We need to fix this problem. So hopefully they get it together and they fix this, and this is not a continuation. I mean, you heard Conor Benn at the end of the fight, his team talking about he's going down to 147. Bro, he made 160 easy, and he was full and muscular, in shape, and he grew weight after the weigh-in. You know what I mean? For the fight, he came in a little heavier. So a lot of that to be said, Clay, is that he's definitely not a 147-pound fighter. He's going to be in the same boat as everybody else that fights underweight and drain. The guy needs to stay at 154 or stay at 160. I mean, move to 154, stay at 160. I don't think he needs to go down to 147. I think it'd too dangerous, way too dangerous.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, we can segue into that conversation as well then at this point, you know what I'm saying? Because here we are watching Eubanks stay at 160 too long and show the performance he did. A lot of people are looking at Conor Benn's performance right now against Chris Eubank, and they're just excited. They think that this new version of Conor Benn, this Conor Benn 2.0, this elevated, evolved Conor Benn, more tenured Conor Benn, is going to, bring high performances as he's anticipating a move down to 147. He has dreams and aspirations of fighting for that 147 pound WBC title. He wants to get the same title his father has, and he put that whole division pretty much on notice, right? He said Devin, Brian Norman. He said any one of those Yanks can get it every day of the week and twice on Sunday, I believe is what he quoted.
Yep, exactly.
And that sounds fun. That sounds interesting. And I think as a boxing fan, we can get behind the Conor Benn that was fighting against Chris Eubank, fighting any one of those fighters, right? But the question is, are we going to get that same Conor Benn that we saw against Chris Eubanks against those fighters at 147? This guy has to cut a lot of weight to get down to 147. I mean, you pretty much shared your opinion on your feel free to elaborate and add to it. But at the end of the day, man, are we getting ready to see another Chris Eubank 2.0 and Conor Benn going down to 147, just being a depleted fighter, a punchy fighter, a fighter who doesn't have that punch resistance to deal with what's really going down there at 147? Or is 147 just kind of like perfect for him right now, being that there's no real killers there? I mean, you got good boxers there, but Brian Norman probably one of the bigger puncher there. But what do you think about that? Yeah, I mean, you shared it, but add to it as far as are we going to re-see that again?
Right. So let's look at the Pete Dobson, the Rosa fight. Those are both like catchweight fights. One was at 150, one was at 154. After fighting at 147 and getting suspended. We figured that was the case. And that's another thing. He put on weight because he was suspended. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He was out of the ring, so he was living his life. I'm pretty sure he was still training and stuff, but you can only do so much when you're suspended. You know what I mean? You're not allowed in a lot of gyms. You're not allowed to train like a certain thing. But he's a boxer. He has to do something to stay in shape. But with that staying in shape, you got to figure this guy put on weight, walk around weight. Maybe stayed solid. His body grows accustomed to certain things until he got back in the ring. Obviously, we've seen it, the 154 to the 150 fight. But Pete Dobson was supposed to be a welterweight fight. And you can see he looked sluggish in both of those fights. He didn't look like Conor Benn that we seen last night. He looked like the Conor Benn that we saw 3 fights ago before Eggate, that he was a ferocious 147 pounder. So with that being said, does he move back down and we see a sluggish, unable to tap in type Conor Benn? Or do we see the Conor Benn we've seen last night, which I highly disagree that we will see that. I think that we'll see the same guy we see fight Pete Dobson at 150. I think it'll be a challenge. I think we'll see him go to distance. I think we'll see him lack of power. I think all those things. And I think he will look like Chris Eubanks. You know, it's not enough training in the world to do so. Remember, he's getting older. And with age, you know what I mean, the weight is harder to come off. The weight is harder to maintain. The strength is lost with weight cuts. So with that being said, I think that's where we end up, Clay, and I'm going to lay my plane right there.
Yeah. I think I mean, listen, man, at the end of the day, the fighter, that's a grown man. He has a team around him. I'm sure they're way more, they understand the stakes that are there. If the weight cut is bad, so if they're going to go down there, then, they've obviously waited out and they feel like it's going to be that, but it does seem like that's going to be the next conversation. That's definitely the magnifying glass I'm going to put on it when the fight gets announced, whatever he decides to do at 147. I'm definitely going to be looking at that weight cut to see how he's acclimating to the division at 147. I think 154 makes more sense to me as well. I think that's where he should go. Shout out to Blaze Pound for Pound TV talking. He said that he thinks 147, 154 may be the right move for him, being that he clearly looked like the undersized guy at 160. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he did look it to a certain degree, but for whatever it's worth, he hit the scale at 3 pounds heavier than Chris Eubanks, right? And he didn't look fat. He looked muscled up, man. So you know what I'm saying? He's built up a lot of muscle. Muscle is harder to get up out of here than fat.
Thing, right?
You know what I mean? So there's a question there to say, all right, well, maybe that's, has Conor Benn lost touch of himself physically, of who he really is? A question would be asked to Conor Benn, when was the last time you cut weight to go down to 147? Have you been doing like mock cuts? Because the last time you were at 147 was like 2022, right? Or something like that. So it's like, bro, you know what I mean? Has your body changed and you're not keeping up with it? I just hope that they're honest about it, right? I hope that I hope that they know they can make the 147 before they commit to making the 147. Because I know once they commit to making it, they're gonna make it one way or the other, right? But you're going down there against some decent punchers. Rolly Romero's a decent puncher. Gia Salvador is a decent puncher. Listen, man, Blair Norman is the best puncher in the division. He's just a heavy puncher. Listen, Devin Haney's probably not necessarily punching as soft as he was when he was at 140, 135. There are guys on there who could take advantage of a punchy Conor Benn. I'm just kind of wondering what his next move is going to be. Yeah, Tiger Johnson is punching right now. I mean, you got fighters up there who are willing to punch you upside your head, bro, and really test your grit. Like, you know what I mean? Really test that grit. It is what it is. So we'll see what happens with Conor Benn next. I mean, Chris Eubank, I think we spoke about a little bit about where he goes next from here. What are you guys thinking about that? And I kind of agree with Angelo on there. I do agree with Angelo. I think he's just not going to beat any top 10 160 pounders. I don't know any of them because 160 is not really jumping like that. But yeah, I think a lot of guys could give him some issues. But also, more importantly, I think at 168, I don't see him dealing with a lot of those guys up there at 168.
No,
he's made his money. They say prize fighters are out there trying to make the biggest amount of money as they can. It looks like that's what he did. Does Chris Eubank Jr. retire after this, or do you see him making a move to potentially fight another fight? And another question on the table also is, does he want to go out the way he did, right? Do you think he might want to do at least one more fight for some sort of redemption for that last performance to not be the performance that the world remembers him having, and also maybe showing the world without telling the world like, yeah, bro, it was a weight cut issue. Really, I'm way better than that, and let me show you in another fight? Or does he just retire and walk up into the sunset with his money as is?
I mean, if he's going to be a dad, it'd be a good time to get out the arena. And if not, just take a hiatus, then move to 168, and maybe you come back, you're a little better, a little stronger, even possibly 175, especially if you have weight issues at 160 like that. Maybe that's a better move for you. Maybe you're a little bit more stronger. Maybe you can bounce a little bit, celebrate the last loss with a good fight with Ben Whitaker, a rising star, somebody you can probably fight at light heavyweight, even a catch weight between 168 and 175. That'd be a good matchup in my opinion. I think that's something that he can do, even if win, lose, or draw. Be a nice payday for England. I think the guys would love to see him pass the torch along. In that sense, Clay. And it gives him that, like you said, it gives him that payday. But I think he just needs to really sit back, relax, take a long thought of it, what he needs to do. To me, the way he was talking sounds like it's over at the end of that fight. So, I mean, that's where I think he goes. I think it's done. But if he decides to do something, he fought 1 or 2 fights at 168. So prior to this, I think he's done, man. I think no more.
I think he should be done. Whether he is done or not, I'll be honest with you, I think he does one more fight. I think he does. I think he fights one more fight, maybe at 168, maybe something. I don't know. I just have a feeling that he doesn't want to go out the way he did, the way he looked. I think he doesn't want to go out that way. But it's going to be a money fight if he does take it. I think he should retire, though, and not even fight one more fight. I think he should walk off into the sunset with his money and just fall back off of the whole situation, right? That's what I believe it is. It is what it is. We'll see what he does, man. We talked about a lot of topics today. I put a link right there in the chat if anybody wants to come up, touch base on any of the topics, give some opinions on what we saw last night. There is the link. Ray, hold it down for me for 1 second, bro, as I'm about to run over to the bathroom real quick, and I'll be right back, bro.
Word. So anyway, yeah, man. I mean, it was just a great weekend in boxing, and then now we got this other week coming up. We're going to see some great boxing this week. Regardless, win, lose, or draw, we're going to see the competitiveness of this week's boxing. We're going to see what happens this week. All answers will happen. I love this week of boxing, this month of boxing, just to say the least. I think it's been a great month thus far. And now we're coming into the end of the month and we're getting to that main card that we were waiting for since it was announced in August. And I know me personally, I can't wait. I know my brother Fly Frequency in the chat. I believe he can't wait. And I know a lot of y'all, Bruce Gas, etc. Salute to Bruce Gas, Blaze in the building. I know Curtis. You know what I mean? Shout out to you. I know you guys can't wait for this upcoming week and this fight that we've been anticipating so long. So that's just moving forward. But as far as what just happened last week in this recap, great fights, both cards, pretty good fights. Much value to it. Sport looks like it's bouncing back. If I have to say, man, it is what it is. Yes, Pro Box card on Friday as well. Yes, that was another banger. And then you figure the one that we had 2 weeks ago with Flods and Tiger Johnson was a great card. And look what happened. You know what I mean? Flods was supposed to be that veteran, that guy that was supposed to be untouchable and strong. And they were both undefeated, and look what happened. You know what I mean? So nothing's predictable in boxing, as we know, because me and Clay got it wrong twice on this card coming up this week. So nothing's predictable. Anything can happen. Just as long as you believe in the sport, you ain't got to change who you are. You know what I mean? So you ain't got to be a boxing fan, not a fan of a person. Support the boxers, but you ain't got to be a fan of the boxers. And if you do, minimize that standard to where boxing comes first.
Yeah, big fights coming up this week for sure. Yeah, Pro Box does have a card coming up, man. 147 is coming together. You know, I mean, there's some fighters up in there who's bringing it. Tiger Johnson, definitely one of them. I see R. Stokes put Tiger Johnson in there. By the way, if I haven't reminded you guys, however many people in the building, hit that like button before you forget as you step into the building. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, take an opportunity to go ahead and do that. Like I said, I did put the link in there. If anybody feels like hitting the link, it's there. You know what I mean? For sure. But I understand if you don't want to. I think we covered a lot tonight, you know what I'm saying? As far as everything going on in the space, big things to walk away with. Rafael Espinosa, barbecue mildew time, man. It's either unify, get involved in some decent fights at 126, or get the hell up out of the division. I think he's kind of taking advantage of the landscape right now. And I don't look, to be honest with you, it looked like that event last night in Mexico, nobody was really there. Like, it was never nowhere near packed. It was very empty, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So you're not even building a fan base up, putting these fights together. Beating on Arnold Kakai didn't sell it last night. It was just like an easy fight. It just didn't make any sense. Emiliano Vargas, time to step him up, put him into some contender status, give him a test. It doesn't have to be the end all be all, but it's time to step him up. Or is it not time to step him up? I don't know how they felt about his performance. I thought he, won every round damn near in that fight. Like, he might have, the guy might have had, won 2-3 rounds max, 2 to 3 rounds. Right. I don't even think it was that much. Maybe 2 rounds because it was only a 10-round fight. But he did well. Conditioning looked good. IQ looked good. Punch selection and the combinations he chose to send out there looked good. Worked the body, a lot of poise. A lot of patience, a lot of power still. Very dangerous fighter. I'm ready to see him step it up a little bit. Future of the heavyweight division in Richard Torres, or get him out of here as well. Pack him up and send him to Bridgerweight. Figure something out with him.
Even cruiserweight.
You can't keep having him.
One or the other. I think Bridgerweight's better. Less fighters, but hey. Get in there, man.
Maybe, but development too, right? You can develop him in Bridgerweight and bring him back to heavyweight
again.
Right.
Back to heavyweight, it'd be a little bit better because he'll have some competition.
Right, 100%, man. So a lot of options there for him. Adam Azim looking like, we're promising for 140, bro. Right? Very promising.
That kid is good, bro. I'm sorry I underestimated him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, I just thought that he was going to be a little too slick, but he wasn't. He stayed on the jab. He did everything he was supposed to do.
Yeah, I didn't underestimate him. I knew he was good, bro. I was kind of real. More than anything, I was disappointed in Kurt Scobie. As far as like he could have tested him better, but Adam Azim definitely looked real good that night. But there's a
damn knife, bro.
There's a part of me that kind of feels like we would have seen him be even better if Kurt Scobie would have competed.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro, he probably would have stopped him in like the 5th round.
Right. He would have looked better. He would have been challenged. It would have been a better victory.
right,
for him, right? He'd have been challenged. He would have stepped up to the challenge, and it would have been a better litmus test about who he was. But I mean, it is what it is. Like at the same time, I mean, giving him his props for what he did, and I think it's time to obviously step him up as well.
right.
Hold on, I think Trini BX is in the background here. Hold on one second. Trini, what's good, family?
What's up, Clay? How you doing, man?
We doing good, man. We up here holding it down, man. How you doing, man?
I'm okay, man. Back to work, back to the grind. Salute
Yeah,
to my guy on the panel,
What
yeah.
up?
Ray Davis, man, for sure.
Ray Davis. Yes,
The
sir.
infamous Ray
The
Davis, back on the
infamous,
team
the
set.
infamous. Put some respect on that name.
Let's
Listen,
go,
man.
let's go.
Clay, no, they know me, man. Listen. I can't even go to channels no more, man, because I'm so it's that Rob.
Hey, that's a good thing sometimes, man. We need that.
But I stay away, man, because there's just no competition out there for me. You know what I mean? Like I don't even want to debate no more, man.
Shut him down. Shut him down, Ray.
No doubt. But Trent,
Yeah,
how'd you
man.
feel about last night?
Yeah, great cards, man. Thanks for calling. Thanks for holding that down, man. That was
No, no
that was
doubt.
dope,
Appreciate you
man.
coming through and holding it down as well, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man, for sure. Oh, yeah, kind of Ben, man. Surprised the shit out of me. I don't understand the going to 147 like you were saying, man. It's a big money fight for Boots there, man. That's a stadium fight. You think
Yeah.
Hearns is maybe separating him till he figures out who he's cashing out?
Yeah.
I think he's separating, but I think he also knows better.
Right. I'm glad you said that. I'm really going to tap in because when they was at 147, they were trying to move Conor Benn into a position to fight Brandon. What WBC? What's his name again? I don't know why I be forgetting people.
Barrios?
Mario Barrios. Thank you. And he was trying to move in position for that fight, and I think they ended up getting away from that because I think if he got in that position, which we all thought if that happened, they was going to have him and Boots fight, bro. He knows to keep Boots away from. Conor Benn away from Boots. That's why that never happened. Never, because that was an easy fight to make when they were there. He could have made all that happen before all that second Karen Kukashan fight happened, all that. But they chose not to due to the fact that that's his guy. That's his European British guy. He ain't gonna let that. He ain't gonna let that dude take that loss like that. So,
but that's a good fight at 154. You don't think? Him rushing in, seeing how Boots handled that.
He's not gonna
Boots will devastate him.
He's not gonna put Conor Benn in there with Boots.
Nah, bro. Boots will devastate him, bro. Boots. That would be a surprising. If that fight was competitive and just a great fight, I'd be surprised. I think Boots would run through him. I think it would look very similar to Usman Lima. I think he would get clipped very early, and he wouldn't be the same. He'd be on Bambi legs, and Boots would just clean him up. I think it would look bad for him. Yeah, not a good look. Not a good look. He needs to stay away from Boots. Don't fight Boots, whatever you do. But I think it is a conundrum, though, right? Because if you send him down there to 154, he's a big enough star now to where I agree it would be a big fight, though.
Shit.
It would be a huge fight. It would get a lot of attention, but not good for Conor, though. Great for Boots.
What do you say? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It would devastate him. You think, I mean, that's the whole thing about it, though, right? As far as a lot of people are feeling more excited about Conor Benn and more confident in Conor Benn because of the performance he had against Chris Eubank last night, right? But the question is, who did he fight last night? Did he fight Chris Eubanks? Or did he fight a dude who's wearing Chris Eubank clothes and had Chris Eubank skin on him and had a Chris Eubank mask on his face? But was that Chris Eubank last night? How did you feel about Chris Eubank's performance last night against Conor Benn? Trini, you there? Oh, Trini tapped out a little bit. He's muted.
Maybe.
I don't know. Trini, you there? Mic check.
Might have lost him for a second. I'm telling you, this hold on a second.
I see Chris saying, "Yes, we hear you, bro. Yes, we hear you, bro."
Yeah. It
was Trini, right? It was his connection.
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you, the stream. What is this thing? Restream.
Yeah. But he's not. He's just not here no more. Maybe that's what it is. Is that what it is,
bro? I'm telling you, kick me out like every time, bro. But it's not all the time. But like every time.
Right. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm actually looking at. I actually have a whole nother thing I'm looking at that Ness had put me on to that I'm probably gonna try some more professional one. So we'll see if that's what it is. Hold on a second here. I think Trini's back. Hold on. What's good, Trini? You there?
Yeah, my fault, Trey. I gotta remember to turn off my alarm. You know what I mean? I
Oh,
got that
okay,
little
okay,
20-minute warning of get ready for work and shit. So whenever it
Yeah,
cuts off, like I could hear you, but I can't. Like it knocks off the screen. Yeah, I gotta
I
remember to
know
do
how
that
that
next
goes. I
time.
know how that goes.
Yeah, let me ask you this though: if you think like if Connor would have had the edge, you think he would have made the fight? I mean, be more towards making the fight.
Yeah,
he's a fighter, of course.
yeah.
In a big
I
UK
think if you
stadium
put it on
fight.
the table, Connor takes a fight. I think if
Right.
Eddie
No,
approaches
Connor takes the
Connor and says,
fight.
"What about Boots?" He
I
takes
see
it.
Connor taking it. I see
Mhm.
it being an interesting fight because he's gonna rush in. Just you know, what I mean, I see it.
Yeah, he's gonna
But
rush
I would
in, and
like
He
it
that's
for a
worked into
belt.
a hook.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what? I just want to see Boots in there with somebody at 154, man. I think it's
You
time.
want
You know,
to
yeah. I think
uh, uh
2026 is the year we see Boots. Boots is gonna have a signature fight in
Boots gonna
26,
get
probably
Boots,
more than one signature fight.
right.
yeah, because 154 is like whoever you pick, it's a tough fight. It's a watchable fight. You know what I
Except
mean?
for
That's
Keith
how
Thurman.
stacked that
By
division
the way.
is. And I'm curious to
Everybody,
see. I'm
huh?
sorry.
I said everybody but Keith Thurman.
Oh yeah. Those I would I want Fedora, Fedora do his thing and we see what happened there.
I mean,
But
even Keith Thurman, I would
I
watch it.
mean
I
he could
mean,
be a player if he for some reason disposes of Fedora, he's back in.
Yeah, but there's the thing. Keith Thurman already admitted that he was scared of Boots Ennis when he tried to act like he didn't know who he was. Talking about he couldn't hold his jock strap and all that. And who is he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He tried to play it off. And he knew who he was because everybody knew who Boots was at that time. And he fought on the same network. He didn't fight on the same with the same company, but he was on a lot of those cards. So Keith Thurman knew who he was, and Keith Thurman was avoiding him. And when he said, "Well, fight me," then he goes, "Why would I fight you?" You know what I mean? Who are you? Who are you? Yeah, you ain't gonna make a name off of me. I'm not your gatekeeper. You remember all that? So yeah, Keith
Yeah,
Thurman
man.
don't want no part of Boots, bro. He don't.
Yeah, man.
yeah, Boots is still
Also,
the boogeyman at 154. And people try to paint it like it's not that, but that's what it is. He's the boogeyman. He's the only guy not scared to fight Boots for real is probably Virgil and Bachram, bro. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think Sherry Bodychuck could fight him.
I
I
think
mean,
Zaya
yeah.
could fight him.
I mean, there's fighters that are fighting, but I'm talking about the champions and
Oh
and the fights he's trying to make. They're gonna move. They're gonna move around him. I think Xander would fight him too, but I don't think Top Rank would allow Xander to do it. You know what I mean? So, he's gonna have to weather the storm and move accordingly. You know what I mean? 147 kind of all over again, but this time at least he has some legitimate representation. He has some good money behind him, so he has a better argument to these fights being made, but it's still going to be an uphill battle for him, man, because he's that kind of a fighter. Everybody knows what they're dealing with when they look at Boots, bro. Like Virgil's team. Virgil's team knows. Virgil ain't scared to take the fight, but his team knows, bro. They'd rather not. Period. They just rather not.
I think too it's both teams. It's both teams. Those guys want to fight each other. It's both teams. I think the whole showing up there was an act, man. Her knows how he would move Ortiz, so he knows how De La Hoya is gonna move him. He should invest. Boots should invest. I said it before on street strength conditioning and figure out if you're such a phenom, handle that 10 pounds. I don't like the excuse fighting back from. I phenom shouldn't have that excuse. That's the one thing that's got me like. And then when he mentioned that he didn't watch the Canelo Crawford fight, it kind of threw me off too. But I'm interested to see how 168 shapes up when Crawford dropped those belts. There's a lot of young talent up there that's going to battle for those belts, man. And Billy fighting him and Gui.
Yeah, your connection is bad, man. Is it me or?
No, I hear it too. It's a little, but I
Yeah.
can't understand. I can make out what he's saying.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me see what I can do here.
Yeah, I think it's just it was a bad connection or something, but yeah, man. We'll see what they do, right? Conor Benn's next move is going to be interesting to watch. They're pushing for 147. That's what they want to happen.
Right.
I would think they want to gradually do it because you want to keep him active, but then again, you don't have to keep him real active. He just made 20 million. You know what I mean? So, he could probably take off the next year and be okay. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He could take off for the next year and a half and come back. And he's young. He's not old.
Who's that?
Conor Benn.
Chris Eubank.
Conor Benn.
Oh, yeah. He could definitely take off. He can go relax for a while. He dropped again.
Yeah. He had a bad connection.
Yeah, he can drop. He can go relax for probably the rest of the year. Maybe come back end of next year, Septemberish, and be okay. Enjoy himself a little bit because he put himself through a lot too. Especially if he's trying to lose that weight and he needs to do it naturally. He needs a long layoff.
Right.
There's no way he's going to be able to melt down to 147 and be okay without taking some time off. He'll hurt himself, man. He'll get in that ring, get clipped, knocked out.
Yeah, I agree. But it is what it is. I think it's about that time to wrap it up.
It is, Clay.
You know what I mean?
Gotta go finish my games. Gotta talk shit to Angelo for cut. You heard him like on the channel. He was like, "Ray, you're going to be cut this week." Nope. I said, "You watch, and I make some moves for you."
No doubt. Hey man, salute to everybody who stepped into the building today for the recap and for us to talking all this boxing, man. Guys, remember to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that, man. Until the next one, we're going into fight week. By the way, I'm gonna make an announcement on the schedule. It's gonna be Tuesday and Thursday. That I'm gonna do a show. I'm trying to think if it's gonna be early or
I work at night.
I think it's gonna be 3 o'clock still. I think 3 o'clock is the time I'm gonna choose because so it's just gonna be on Tuesday and Thursday.
Right.
I think it's gonna be 3 o'clock.
I would tell you, hey, let's do it in the morning because we got people out here trying to clown.
Nah, but not me. I work at
I work
at night.
You know what? I enjoy the afternoon show, man.
Yeah, because I'll be asleep. I ain't playing that game with y'all, bro. You're not finna. I come in about like 5 in the morning, so I'm going in. I'm out of here, bro. I'm not getting up until like.
I get home. Take my son to work. Take the other one to school. Pick him up early. Pick the other one up after, man.
Yeah, nah, not me.
Well, we'll be all right. I get my grind.
Everything above, but yeah. So I think it's gonna be 3 o'clock Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Right,
We're gonna be the show. And of course Saturday covering the fights and doing a show on Saturday, and potentially the fights are worth it. The recaps on Sunday, so we'll be on about three times minimum week, 4 times. You know what I'm saying? Right. On a good week, and we'll be more consistent with the content and keeping that flowing and keeping that going the right way. This is going to be a big fight week this week. Obviously, it's grand arrivals. We got weigh-ins going on this week. We got final press conferences going. We got media workouts, interviews. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about. This is probably the card of the year that everybody's been waiting on. I don't know if there's been a card. Wait, yo, answer. I don't know if there's going to be a card. There's going to be a card more. A card more interesting than that card. So we'll get into that later on into the week. Let's see how everybody's looking. I can't wait to see Devin Haney on the scales, on the weight on the scales.
I gotta see the face off, bro.
I want to see him at the face. So I just want to see what he looks like and how he's feeling. I want to see Brian Norman in the big lights. You know what I'm saying? I want to see the production around this event on next Saturday, bro. I just can't wait.
And it's crazy that fight is taking over, bro. Like,
it ain't crazy to me. I think that's the fight that
should have been the main fight.
Right. You know what it was? I think, I think that the overall consensus was that in the beginning it was going to be Devin against Tio. And so because now it's Devin and Brian, it's kind of like they feel like it went like this.
Yeah.
Because it
went like this.
But I think it went like this. Yeah. Exactly. I think they're bugging. I think they didn't really look at it for what it was. And I bet you they're feeling some kind of way about it a little bit as well, right?
Because it's generated
in the main event.
And did you see the little punching on the bag? Devin doing the Benavides on the bag?
Yeah.
Yo.
Hold on. Let me let Too Rich come up here, man. Too Rich.
Oh, my
Rich?
brother.
I gotta let Too Rich come up here if it's Too Rich, bro.
I ain't see Too Rich in a minute, man.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Clay and Ray?
Doing good, brother. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good. I know y'all about to get out of here, man. I was trying to catch y'all before y'all got out of here.
Yeah, no doubt, man. For sure, man. Definitely looking forward to hearing some of your
y'all
takes on it. Oh, damn.
Yeah, he dropped. You can hear that stat. Like he was coming.
Yeah, it got static and got weird. It did get weird.
I'm telling you, I don't know if it's just the channel or it's, I mean, this restream, bro. I'm telling you. Because it kicked me off like twice.
But you've never been actually kicked off.
Huh? Oh, I don't get
you've been put in the back, but he was actually, I think that's him. I think he had a bad connection, but we gotta find out right now. Yeah, Too Rich, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Was that you? Just bad connection?
Yeah, I don't know. It kicked me out for some reason. I don't know what happened.
Oh man, I don't know. I hope it ain't. Let me see. Well, let's hope we're good here, man. But what's good with your family, man? I seen you doing your thing over on your channel, man. Doing a lot of these breakdowns, man. You kind of doing your thing over there, man. Oh shit!
Did it again. Clay, you kicking him out, man?
Nah, bro, that's crazy. If that's the case, if it's really the case, and that's what's going on, that's a whole nother conversation, right? I don't know, bro. That's weird.
My brother, too rich, man. I respect the belts.
Yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. I don't know. We might have to just, take a rain check on Too Rich, right? He might have just given up at this point. Let me see if he put something in the chat. Like, shout out to Ryan saying promoting spot. Yeah, man, no doubt, Blaze, no doubt for sure, man. But yeah, man, that fight is definitely stealing the show, bro. It's stealing the show, and it should be stealing the show. I think it's the best fight on that card. I think it's the best.
That might be that could be one of the best fights of the year because
Yes.
the reason why I'm gonna tell you that, Clay, even with Terrence and Canelo building up their fight, that fight was being talked about. They were talking about that Devin Haney Brian Norman fight during that time. This fight has been talked about since March or April of 2025. There you go.
Rich, is that me? Is that this platform, or are you a bad connection?
You back. Too Rich. You back. He might be on mute.
No, he's not on mute. I think it's just a bad connection. Maybe it's Restream. Maybe Restream is just not working well with some devices or something like that. Because I don't even see him on.
Hold on. Did he come? Hold on.
No.
Now he didn't disappear. He didn't drop off.
No, but his screen is just black now. I'm just gonna go ahead. He didn't just get off right now. I just took him off, but I don't even see a volume. But like the way it's set up, it doesn't even look like he's really on the channel anymore. Let me see here. Yeah, he just left now. I don't know, bro. Right. I might have to go back to StreamYard, bro, if that's gonna be the case. I don't know, bro. I got another, like I said, there's another platform I'm looking at here. That Ness uses. It's like I said, it's a platform that I would have to put on my Mac, which I ain't got no problem doing. It's supposed to be like, I mean, he never has any issues, so it might be about that time.
And he get the phone calls, y'all.
Might be outgrowing Restream, bro. Yeah, Too Rich. I don't know, bro. It's kind of weird, bro. I don't know, man. My bad, man. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know why it's doing that, but they definitely probably not going to get renewed. I'm probably going to move on from these guys shortly. I'm definitely looking for a solution. I'm not going to continue to just deal with technical issues with these platforms. I just think that with the StreamYards and the Restreams, I might be outgrowing that. That platform.
Back to old school, the original. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's the original?
StreamYard?
No, the original. You don't know what that is?
Nah, what is it?
Straight up Zoom, man.
Oh, word. Zoom is an option for sure. Zoom is definitely an option. You know what I mean?
Go with the regular party room, man. Zoom might work.
Yeah. But yeah, big fights from that card this week. We're gonna be talking about Anthony Yardy and David Benavidez. Big test for David Benavidez. I think it's this is one of those fights that I'm definitely favoring David Benavidez to win 100%, right? But I think Anthony Yardy can test him in a way. We might even see David Benavidez pockets touch the ground for the first time in a while. You know what I mean? He might run into some real adversity here with Anthony Yardy.
I think he might get. You know what I'm thinking? Either Devin gonna lose or Benavidez gonna lose, or like it's gonna be an upset. I think Devin would be not really the upset to me. I think he's the favorite going in because of experience. You know, I'm looking at it as experience. But if Brian Norman wins, man, I'm gonna celebrate. I'm gonna give him his flowers, bro. I'm like, yo, man, you deserved it. But it depends how he wins. You know what I mean? If he goes in there and knocks him out, I'm gonna tell him to check his snack card, bro. You know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, listen, a big test for him. I think a big test for Abdullah Mason. He's jumping. You know, it's so hilarious, man. He's jumping right from like 8-round fights into 12-round fights. Did he fight a 10-round fight? I don't
Who's
think
that?
Abdullah Mason.
No.
He just kind of got moved a little fast,
he
right?
never went 10 rounds, bro.
Huh?
The most he ever went was like 6 or 7 rounds, 8 rounds, I think.
Yeah, but I'm trying to see, was he even scheduled in his last fight?
Yeah, his last 2 fights was 10 rounds.
His last 2 fights were 10-round fights. Yeah, but he didn't make it. He hasn't been past 6 rounds.
Oh, was it 6? I thought it was 8. What? Okay, 6 rounds.
Nah, bro. He has not been past 6 rounds. You know what I mean? He has not been past 6 rounds. So this is going to be a big jump for him.
That's why Sam Noakes is going to be a problem for him, bro.
Well, that's if Sam Noakes can get him there, right?
He's acknowledging that, Clay. He said, yo, this guy's a good fighter, and he can punch. He can put me in a bad situation. I'm glad he acknowledged that. That's another possibility.
Oh, yeah. I mean, him acknowledging that is one thing. And obviously, listen, man, he didn't have to acknowledge it. If he didn't want to acknowledge it, that'd be his own delusion for not entertaining the fact that if this fight goes into that direction, it's going to be a new place for him. But I also believe that the fight has to go there for him to get that experience. He's one of those fighters who I just wish he got a full 10 rounder in, like just like Emiliano Vargas got a 10 rounder in. I wish he got one in, like, you know, like they made him with somebody who could take him there. And this just seems like a big leap from his last fight, right? From the last fight he had to this fight, it just seems like he went like, whoa, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out for him, and of course Bam as well, man.
Oh yeah, and that's the start of the card, bro. It's a good card. It's all champions, bro. All belts on
all headliners, bro. All headliners in their own right. Even Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes is probably the most not headliner card fight on the card, and you know, that's a real stylistically great fight.
I think that's actually a bigger fight than a lot of these. I think that's just as big as the Benavidez.
And Abdullah gets an opportunity to be on this big stage, man. He gets a stoppage, becomes a champion, man. He might be an overnight star. He might legitimately be like take the place of Tank and a lot of other people.
You hear he ain't interested in him. He said he just want to fight.
Yeah, but that's what we want to hear him say, man. That's the right thing to be saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Fans like us.
He's saying the right stuff.
Yep. So it is what it is, man. We're going into this next one. Tuesday we'll be back at it again. Be up here breaking down what's going on during the week, and of course, be here on Saturday to call the fights, man. But on that one, I don't know if you want to land it or say anything.
Nah, I ain't got nothing.
All right, man. At this point, it's that ATP Combat Media Show, Bo. Shout out, man. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it. Until the next one. At this point, we out.
Yeah.
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up.